Whew. Technically very challenging road. Nicely said, I shit my pants.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel. I'm a motorcycle adventure rider who works a boring office job, and this is my way of connecting with reality. Every spare moment I spend traveling around the world with motorcycle, always searching for interesting people, adventures and places.
Good morning guys. Good morning guys, and welcome to the day 3 of our Gran Canaria motorcycle tours. On my third day I decided to explore a southern area of the island, just because north area can be a little too busy, and I personally find southern areas much more, let's say, biker friendly. By biker friendly I mean less traffic on the road and better scenery, but definitely check the north area as well, because on north areas there are mainly jungle style villages, or let's say really authentic Spanish old villages. Here, as you can see, it's mainly landscape on the south. So if I would choose both of the best of both worlds. So at the moment I'm riding from Maspalomas to Puerto Rico, and then I'm gonna go north into inner island, and then go down south to Santa Lucia and Vecindario, and then end up my today's ride in Maspalomas. So that's about the plan. We'll see how it goes. I'm planning maybe a couple of hours of riding, 130-150 kilometers altogether, but because of configuration of the road, it's very, let's say, they can be very slow, especially in inner island. So that's about it from now. I'm on a GC500 at the moment, and I'll keep you up to date with the happenings on the road. Stay tuned. And now I'm entering inner part of the Gran Canaria, towards one small place. As you can see, a lot of cyclists here, and epic scenery again. This island is known as well for diversity. So let's say in a short distance you can be on a sea level, and in just a couple of kilometers south or north, or depend on your location, you can be a pretty fantastic mountain place, or even in sometimes I even felt like I'm in the middle of Colombia, to be honest. We just very humid, picturesque landscape, nature, more like jungle, let's say. So as you can see, quality of asphalt still on these roads is magnificent. Let me just get rid of this van in front of me. They're always obstructing the view, so I'll try to get rid of them as soon as possible without putting myself in danger, of course. All right. Okay, weather is warm today as well, so every day here is just magnificent. yeah, truly perfect biking place, especially if you consider it's end of January. So while the whole Europe is covered with the snow, this place here just feels like spring. So all I can say is this was a very nice experience, and to be honest, I would be sad if I didn't rode on these roads. I'll make a price breakdown later, but it wasn't that expensive altogether, with apartment and everything. Less than 1,000 euros for 5 days for the family of 4, 2 kids and 2 adults. But I'll make a full price breakdown later on. I'll continue towards inner of the island, actually from my place towards north, and stay tuned for next viewpoint. I just turned the camera on to record this magnificent view. Fantastic road, mountain in front of me, palmas all around, simply amazing. In the middle of nowhere, small charming city, looks like it's been there for ages. Spanish style at its best. And every now and then someone on the road. Beautiful. I'm climbing higher in the mountains, and as you can see, there's a little to none traffic. In fact, majority of traffic are cyclists, and every now and then one car passes by. So at the moment I'm going towards Barquillo Andreas, one village that I'll just pass through in a way while looking for a place to have a coffee, short coffee break. Okay, Barquillo Andreas, 650 altitude. And this is what I was saying about the other day. Big nowhere and one village. Hola, gracias. Guys, this was technically very challenging road, but of course, gracias. Whew. Technically very challenging road. Nicely said, I shit my pants. Not literally, of course, but it was very, very technically challenging. I wouldn't recommend this route to anyone who's not really comfortable in riding on these roads. This is very, very remotely, and to be honest, I wasn't even expecting that it's gonna be this remote. But anyway, I think we are fine now, at least it should be. I'll post the route where you can download it, so if you are into adventure, then try this route. But as I said, smaller bike, lighter bike would be more suitable for this kind of road. Actually, I wasn't even able to sheeps. Wasn't even able to press record on my camera because a lot of climbs and downs with very curvy bends that go almost 360, and I'd say maybe angle of 12 or 15 degrees. So guys, I'm continuing on a GC605 if I'm right. Still riding pretty remotely on a GC605. 11 minutes, around 6 kilometers to my next viewpoint. And yeah, GC605. The asphalt and the quality of the road is not as good as was before, but I'm hoping it's getting better. So let's see. No, už se okrenuo.
Kako krenuti upravo?
Nije dobro sad.
Kako onda krenuti?
Zdesni to. Okay guys, this was a nice little coffee stop. Now we are continuing our journey towards south, toward Maspalomas. I just wanted to show you one thing on that I particularly don't like about this Multistrada is I have a charger plugged in, and every time I need to look at it and make sure it's connected, because this is a little bit clunky and always falls apart, and just need to make sure my phone is always charging. So that's particularly what I don't like about Multistrada at the moment. And on my BMW GS, I don't have that issues. It's not so. It's much more sturdier than it is on Multistrada. So, but all in all, very nice bike. And see you on the road, guys. And now next stop is Santa Lucia, eastern side of Gran Canaria. Now we are descending still towards Santa Lucia. Says 15 kilometers, half an hour to the place, and the scenery epic. What can you say more? We are in the middle of an island at the moment, and descending down to sea level. Traffic is getting a little bit busier. These are mostly rented cars, and very few local people here. A lot of viewpoints, a lot of places to stop by, take a picture, enjoy in a beautiful and warm weather. We are on this GC60 road, and all in all, pretty spectacular. With this third day of touring, I covered 75–80% of an island, or better say roads on the island, on Gran Canaria, and what's left is tomorrow to go to northern areas, and that's almost the whole island. It's a pretty small island, but you can easily spend a few days riding here. To be precise, 3–4 days would be enough to see the whole island. People here are very touristically oriented, very friendly, ready to explain you something if you missed some road or something, and with a smile and a good mood, you can even ask them about some local tips if you want, dependent on your preferences, of course. But since the people here live from a tourism, that's pretty expectable, but definitely good people around so far. Not a single issue with someone being unfriendly or unwilling to help, so all positive there. And while I'm descending down in this epic scenery, I wanted to point out a few things about the bike itself. I mean, I'm focusing mainly on the things that I don't like, so if you are comfortable with those things, then it's gonna be a good riding experience riding this bike for you. So first thing that I don't like much about this bike is clutch is a little hard, and when the bike is cold, it can be really clunky, or the bike can pull you forward and backward quite quickly. That's one thing. And the second thing that I kind of don't like is I had yesterday two situations where brakes weren't kind of as I was expecting them to be. I wasn't pressing them hard, and probably because of weight of a bike or something, they just weren't braking as I was expecting, so they surprised me a little bit. So that might be my mistake. Maybe I was going too far for a given road, or it was a little bit wet on the road. Actually, it was a little bit windy, so I assume it might be something with maybe a little bit of salt level or something, so it was a little bit slippery. Those two things are maybe what I like, let's say, more in a BMW than I like on Multistrada. But again, it all comes down to your personal experience, and this is a big adventure bike. And now we are entering one small city. Let's see. Santa Lucia GC60. Okay. Let's check the map here for a second. Okay guys, I turned the camera on to show you these epic curves. What a view on a mountain range on my right hand side. I'm sure this GoPro can't even realistically show how magnificent this is. Beautiful road, quality of the asphalt. The only problem is it's a big fall out of this road down there. Might be a little tricky if you made a mistake or I made a mistake. So cautious riding is highly recommended here, if you can resist, of course. I don't know how much you can hear on a camera, but Ducati sounds like a Ferrari. Really specific sound. So we passed the Santa Lucia and now I'm continuing on this beautiful road towards Vecendario, and from Vecendario to Maspalomas, where I'll call it for today. Pleasantly surprises me about this Ducati. Even if I'm driving in a sport mode, it has a couple of modes, and I was riding in a touring mode, and today I'm riding in a sport mode, which is probably full power mode. It surprises me how fuel consumption is completely acceptable. So I was climbing up on the mountain and descending, I think mainly in a second gear, with a lot of riding in a first gear as well. You see how clunkiness, so it's stuck in a neutral, and now I need to, yeah, the gearbox is a little clunky. So the fuel consumption is quite acceptable. I was riding mainly in a second gear and the first gear as well, but still my fuel looks half full, so that's quite economic, let's say, even though I'm riding in a sport mode with a lot of, let's say, harder accelerations. It's very hard to go through these bends on in a second gear, believe me or not. So GC85 for your reference. This is great road. To be honest, I can't remember if I ever was in a situation where I need to slightly brake with the rear brake and keep the keep the gas on, keep the power on, let's say, in the lack of better word. And guys, back to civilization. Juan Palmas, I think, is the name of the place, and it's, according to SatNav, on our way to Maspalomas, sorry. So that's the end of the third leg of our Gran Canaria. Actually, Juan Grande is the name of the place. It's the end of third leg of our Gran Canaria motorcycle tours with Ducati Multistrada, and see you on the road in a bit.